I am Selena, 30, F. I am a new mom to a few days old, Eddie, M. I wish I could say that this is a happy time for my family, but it is not. I am going through a divorce right now and everyone around me is blaming me for it. I know being a single mom is tough, but I can do anything to get my son out of the toxic environment that he would have had to face had I not ended that marriage. I have made great mistakes and I need a few honest opinions, so, here goes to nothing. I have been dating Robert since high school and he treated me well. He did all the dreamy things that every girl wants. Plan dates, get me flowers, take me to do my nails and whatnot. The only thing he prioritized over me was his sister and mother, and I never had an issue with that, I guess. I took it as a green flag actually. I thought, oh well, he treats the women in his life so well, he is a real gentleman. If I ever get to marry him and become his wife, then he will probably treat me exponentially better. Well, I can't even tell you guys how wrong I was. The moment I married him, the chase was over. Now, began a new phase. The taken for granted phase. Emotional abuse is something that you realize gradually with time and not at once. It's also very difficult to break away from something like that when you really love that man. Looking back now, I know there were countless instances where I know I should have realized that Robert couldn't set boundaries or know what to prioritize, but love makes you blind. My Sil and Mill were maid of honors at my wedding and they both wore white with long trails. When I pointed this out to Robert that the bridesmaids and the maid of honors were all supposed to wear pink, he said that it really didn't matter and that I was ruining our big day by being sulky and instead should just focus on something different. That was not all though. They were in every picture and even photobombed the couple's photos. Even the photographer got tired and told my Sil to stop, to which my husband, the kiddo, is just having fun, let her be. I am sure the pictures would turn out better with her in the frame. My Sil is no kid. She is 25 years old who herself is about to get married next year. I was so embarrassed. That day I realized that I was wrong about Robert all along, but it was too late. I was already Robert's wife. The only good thing was that my cousin and his wife had gifted me a house as our marriage gift, so we moved in there after our marriage. We didn't see much of my in-laws, but Robert went over to their house every weekend and never stayed home with me. When I pointed out that we didn't even go on a honeymoon trip, he said that we would take the trip after his sister got married so that his sister and future Bill could come along with us. In this context, it would be right to point out that his future Bill was a freeloader and his sister too was unemployed. I had tried talking to her and pointing out that marriage brings a lot of financial responsibility as well, but she laughed it off by saying that her brother will take care of all her financial responsibilities. I realized that I couldn't do much about it unless Robert supported me, which he didn't, so I didn't broach the subject again. So, yeah, the red flags were screaming to be acknowledged, but I thought I could fix him in our marriage. I don't know why I decided to take up the role of Bob the Builder, but then there I was trying to win over him by winning over his family. When I saw that Robert wouldn't stay a single weekend with me, I decided to go with him. The first and only time I went there, his mother and sister were not very pleased to see him. What was even more surprising was that Sarah, my Sil's, 26, F, freeloader fiancé, Dylan, 26, M, was also there. So basically, I was the only one who was never asked to join. I had taken a cake with me and I told them that I had come along because I wanted to surprise them. My Sil said, a nasty surprise I see. They all laughed as if Sarah had cracked the world's best joke. Robert's mother, Beatrice, 56, F, said that they didn't have enough food for me because this was family time for them, so they didn't expect outsiders. I looked at Robert expecting him to say something about how I am a part of the family way more than Dylan as I was his wife, but he was looking out of the window and was completely zoned out, or at least pretended to be zoned out. I told Robert that I would drive back home and he meekly handed me the car guys and his mom cheerfully said bye and that I should not behave like a jealous child and intrude upon Robert like that. I was so ashamed that I left without saying anything and cried on my way home. Robert came back home that day with flowers and chocolates and took me out to eat at my favorite continental place the next day. So yeah, he was not blind to the vile treatment, he just chose not to stand up against it. For the whole week after that till the next weekend, Robert treated me like a queen, and then as the weekend arrived, he was gone to his happy family. He would come back and overcompensate till the next weekend. This happened in the first few months of our marriage, and then even this special treatment stopped and, in its place, came dismissal. If I ever said something about how I feel lonely on weekends and want to spend time with him, then he would accuse me of not understanding his duties to his family and how by now I should be used to his weekend brunch with his family. He often told me that I was overreacting. I was deeply unhappy and I shared this problem with my mom. Mom said that if we make a baby then maybe I won't feel so lonely and Robert would be more at home and involved at home. I told her off and said that it would really be a very selfish reason to make a baby, but she successfully planted the thought in my head and I kept toying with the idea. We both would be working parents, so I might have to drop the kid off at my mom's before I left for work, but on weekends, I would actually be able to spend a lot of quality time with the kid. Would the father of the baby not want the same? Slowly a sort of baby fever got hold of me, and I asked my husband if he thought that we were ready to be parents. He was super excited and said that even his mother was suggesting so. I asked him why his mother wanted us to have a baby, and he shrugged and said that she was ready to be a grandmother and she was getting old, so having a young man who could take care of her would be a good thing. I told him that he couldn't use our baby to take care of his mom and that I didn't think that he was ready to be a father. We argued and the baby talk was off the table. I don't know what changed after that, but suddenly Robert started staying home on weekends. He went back to treating me like he used to before marriage, and he even booked tickets to Maldives for our much delayed honeymoon. We had a week-long honeymoon in Maldives and Robert made me feel very loved and special. He said that he wanted to make it up to me for making me feel bad. Fool that I was, I stepped right into his trap, and after coming back from our honeymoon, we realized that I was pregnant. Robert was overjoyed, I was apprehensive. Robert convinced me that we were ready to be parents and took extraordinary care of me in the first 3 months of the pregnancy. He took me to the doctor, made sure I had my vitamins, stayed home on weekends, ordered every food I craved, and bought things for our baby. In the 4th month, things went back to how they were before our honeymoon. He had got me pregnant and made sure that there was no way I would do anything to not have the baby. That was the whole point of the act. In the weeks leading up to my labor, I was severely depressed. My mom came over to take care of me, but she always made excuses for Robert's behavior simply because he was rich, and that was all that mattered to my mom. My due date was in December's 3rd week. 2 weeks before my delivery, my mom went to her brother's funeral. With the due date so close, I couldn't go to my uncle's funeral. I begged my husband to stay home that weekend. I was sad about my uncle's death and felt lonely. That was the one day I didn't want to be home alone. I told my husband exactly this, and he said, "Sel, you are going to be a mother and make a lot of sacrifices in the future, so being alone for a day is nothing compared to the sacrifices that you have to make in the future. So, I will suggest that you better sleep it off. I will see you tonight. Don't wait up for me. I will have dinner with them. Bye, honey. Take care. Remember, you have to take care of yourself for our little Eddie." He didn't even wait for my response and took the car keys and left. I was feeling exceptionally sick that day, so went to lie down for a while and fell asleep for an hour or so. When I woke up, I had terrible cramps. I saw that the bed was wet and realized with terror that my water had broken. Immediately I called my husband. He cut the call twice before he picked up. He sounded positively annoyed. I literally shrieked that my water broke. He said, "So why are you wasting time calling me? Call the hospital or something." I don't know, man. Gosh. You are a grown-up woman. Pull yourself together and face the situation. I am literally between brunch with everybody. Even Dylan's parents are here. Stop calling me. The line went dead. I stared at the phone in my hand, then stepped out on the street. Robert had taken the car, so I couldn't even drive myself to the hospital. I flagged down a car. A gentleman stopped his car and quickly held open the door for me. I was rushed to the hospital. The gentleman, whose name was Mr. Singh, did all the formalities and asked me if I would like him to call somebody. I gave him my husband's number, and after some time he came and told me that no one was picking up. Mr. Singh, a stranger, stepped up in that moment. After I had given birth to Eddie, he was the only person who came to meet me. He brought fruits, baby clothes, and chicken wings for me. My eyes watered. I felt like my uncle's spirit had sent this man because he couldn't be here in person. Mr. Singh congratulated me and patted my hand. I gave Eddie to him and he mumbled a prayer for him. He told me that I reminded him of his daughter, and if I ever needed something, I should give him a call. He left his card with me. I saw that he was a divorce lawyer. I thought my guardian angel was giving me all the signs, so without hesitating, I told Mr. Singh that I wanted a place to stay. I wanted to move to a house. He said that he has a penthouse and he can move me there, and said that I needn't worry about the rent till I start working. Before he left, he turned around and said, "By the way, you can call me uncle, child." Meanwhile, my husband called at night. I watched it ring but didn't pick up. I told the nurses that I didn't want my husband to find out I was there. So, I asked them to not tell him in case my husband called up. They agreed. My husband left me a text asking me in which hospital I was. I didn't reply. The nurses asked me if they should call social services. I asked them not to. The nurses and doctors were very kind and understanding. I didn't even take my mother's call because then she would definitely tell Robert where I was. Uncle Singh came the next day and told me that all was ready for me to move in. He said there's not much to prepare anyway because that used to be where his daughter lived. She had recently moved out of the country and taken up a job somewhere in Germany. He said it would be nice to have someone live in his daughter's penthouse because he terribly missed his daughter. He told me that his wife was also eager to meet me. Uncle drove me to their penthouse, which was neat and beautiful. Auntie was in wait and immediately set about making things comfortable for me. They repeatedly asked me if I wanted something, and I told them that I wanted nothing more than to continue staying there. I then told them everything that happened and asked my uncle to start the divorce proceedings. He asked me if I was sure about it, and I said that I had never believed in something more. My uncle told me to tell my husband about my son's birth. So, I texted Robert about it. He told me that it was really careless of me and that we had to immediately go and meet his family with Eddie. I told him that it was bold of him to think that I would take my son to meet his toxic family. He was quiet for a while and then said, "Don't be a kid. We have to take Eddie to his godmother." I asked him who decided that Robert's sister is the godmother, and he asked me to stop being ridiculous because it was supposed to be that way from the start. I couldn't keep it together anymore and screamed, "You know what's ridiculous? It's you. You are the damn joker. I had to take a lift to the damn hospital and give birth alone. If you loved me and your son, you would have rushed to us. You are so damn selfish and your family is crazy. You are not going to be a part of my son's life. You will hear from my lawyer soon. I am divorcing you." I was fuming when I cut the call. Auntie was looking really concerned when I cut the call and said that my husband was not a man, he was a child. I laughed. My first laugh in ages. My mom called and started going on and on about how terrible I was and how Robert called her to tell her what happened. She told me that their family was pressing charges because I separated my son from them. Apparently, I am a selfish mom who only thought of myself, and hence, I deserve to be dragged to court and have my son taken away from me. They were saying that my depression made me unfit to be a mother. I told my mom that I didn't give a damn about what they were saying because I know I am going to win the case and take full custody of my son. I cut the call and decided to not take any calls from my family members. I started applying to freelancing positions to supplement my income. I already had a job, but if I had to raise my son comfortably, then I needed some more. Suddenly my phone started buzzing continuously with texts. I was getting hate texts from my Sil, Mill, and Dylan's whole family. They were calling me names and a villain for breaking their family. They were threatening to break into my house and take my son by force and saying things like, "The only thing that is saving you right now is the fact that you don't know your address. Otherwise, we would totally come over and teach you a lesson, you stupid cuss words." I was shivering while reading these texts when Auntie took the phone from my hand and said sternly, "You are going to eat and get some rest. I will look after Eddie till you wake up. You are not going to check your phone and not stress. Your uncle will take care of everything. When you wake up, your uncle will take you to the police station to lodge a complaint. We need to file a restraining order." Yeah, so, guys. I really wanted to vent and I thought writing it out would help me collect my thoughts. I wrote this while taking a long bath in the bathtub. I will be off to sleep soon. What has been really bothering me though is the question that is if I did the right thing by not letting Robert meet Eddie. Will this affect his child's brain in some way? I don't think Robert is a positive role model in any sense, so I don't know if his presence would have adversely affected him or not. Ida? Update 1. I have been reading your comments, and even though I hate to admit it, you guys are right. Divorce is bound to have some sort of an impact on Eddie, and so will the absence of a father. I am just glad that Uncle and Auntie Singh will give the baby the love he deserves. I talked with Uncle's daughter yesterday. She is a scientist. I was telling her the circumstances under which I ended up in her penthouse. In the end, she said that it was God who designed the meeting. She was really worried about her parents, but now that I was there, she saw her mother genuinely happy after a long time. She asked me to not worry about the rent just yet. I thanked her, and to my surprise, she thanked me back. I can't tell you guys how incredibly lucky I feel. Uncle Singh will be the positive male role model in Eddie's life. I have thought and thought about it, and I think when he starts asking difficult questions, I will answer him as truthfully as I can. I will try teaching him how to become a man and not some sort of mama's pet. Well, I guess we have to see what happens. Well, coming to the update now. After I woke up from my nap, Uncle and I went to file the restraining order. Auntie has been taking great care of Eddie, so I can confidently say that Eddie is in good hands. There's been a lot of peace since the restraining order was filed, but today when I went out to work, I don't know if I am hallucinating or something, but I think I saw Dylan from the corner of my eyes. I don't know, I could be paranoid. I haven't told Uncle Auntie about this because I don't want to unnecessarily worry them. The restraining order has been filed against Robert's family, so technically there's nothing stopping Dylan from trying to contact me. I don't want them to find out where I live. I will keep you guys updated. Update 2. Hi guys. Last night my penthouse got egged. Auntie and Uncle had gone home for the night and I was alone. I ran to where Eddie was sleeping and held him close. He was badly scared and crying his eyes out. I felt so scared and stifled. I was low-key having a panic attack when the egging stopped after 15 long minutes. I couldn't move and just tried rocking Eddie back to sleep. When Eddie fell asleep, I put him on my bed and lay awake by his side. The next morning when Auntie came to meet me, she was absolutely frantic. She wanted me to move in with them in their house, but I told her it wouldn't change a thing because then the next time, it would be their house that would get egged. I think I was right in my suspicion. Dylan had followed me, but there's no guesswork in law. So, we can't directly file a case against him. We have filed a vandalism charge against unknown people. Uncle is currently getting cameras and a new security system installed as I type this. Our court hearing is next week, by the way. I will keep you guys updated. Update 3, I am dead tired. This is going to be a short update. I just want the hearing to be over. The drama is going overboard at this point. Last night, Dylan tried to break into the house. The security system immediately notified 911 and he was caught. He was wearing a black balaclava. He was taken away by the cops. On interrogation, it was found that they had a plan of kidnapping Eddie. I could be portrayed then as a careless mother and the custody would go to Robert, but the fact that he was caught changed the whole game. Now, there's no chance in hell that they would win, and more importantly, some of them are going to go to jail. Update 4, Robert's family denied being involved in the kidnapping. Yeah, I am so not surprised. Dylan was head over heels in love with Sarah, but his beloved Sarah has abandoned him. As far as my uncle told me, nobody even went to visit Dylan in custody. We had a court hearing today and Uncle totally ate Robert up. Things look like they are going to be in our favor. After the hearing, when I was leaving, Robert ran up to me and held my hand. He said he had realized his mistakes and asked me to move back with him and our son. I was tempted to give in, but then I remembered all the times that I had given in and then things had gone back to as they were. I removed my hand from his and asked him to play his stupid tricks on someone else. I told him he has some growing up to do, and a man who himself didn't behave like a grown-up couldn't be expected to raise a child. A child raising a child is an unheard of thing, isn't it? Boom. Mic drop. He couldn't even get a word out before I got in Uncle's car and left. I mentally fist pumped myself for this amazing comeback. LOL. What do you guys think of my comeback? Also, wish me luck for the next hearing. Update 5, guess who got the custody of Eddie and massive child support? None other than your girl, Selena. The only thing is that Robert got visiting right. I don't think it will be nice to deprive my child of his father, so I am not going to appeal it, even though I am sure that if I do appeal it, we would win. I don't want Eddie to grow up and blame my selfish desire to win as the reason for his dad being someone he doesn't know. I told Robert exactly this, but I said that I have a condition. He can never take Eddie to meet his grandmother and sister. If I find out anything fishy going on behind my back, then I won't hesitate one bit in terminating his visiting right. I have landed a very well-paying freelancing job along with my regular job. I am also starting a blog for new single moms, which is gaining a lot of popularity. I am getting a few sponsors already. You guys can check out my blog too. Gosh. I am so excited for this new mom life. As of now, mom life is treating me well. I love being Eddie's mom. Also, my mom is back in the picture. After the kidnapping attempt, she is finally convinced that I did the right thing by getting out of that marriage. She apologized to me and thanked Uncle and Auntie profusely. The first time she saw her grandson, she cried. She held Eddie close and cursed Dylan. She said she couldn't believe that someone would actually try doing something so horrible to a child. There's no bigger pain for a child than being separated from its mother. I couldn't agree more. Dylan's trying is ongoing. Uncle says that with that kind of evidence against him, there's no doubt that he is going to jail. Meanwhile, Sarah is already getting married to some rich old guy whom she met at a party. Apparently, they are getting married after only dating for a week. I am getting updates of their family from a friend who stays near Robert's house. Your girl is getting all the tea. LOL. Oh, by the way, I had asked Robert to move out of our house. I mean, come on, it was a gift from my side of the family, so it is only fair for him to move out. He moved out this week, so I'm going to return to my old house. I am so thankful to the Singh family that I don't even know how to show it to them. I stayed with them for 2 months for free. I tried paying them rent, but they wouldn't accept it. In the end, they only took a month's rent and said that itself was my uncle's fee for representing me and that they wouldn't take a penny more from me. Update 6, guys. Sorry, I couldn't get back to you guys sooner. I know. It has been 6 months, but gosh. Being a mom is a full-time job. Thank God for my mom and auntie. They take turns to look after Eddie when I go to work. These two women have been a real help. I come back home to eat tasty and nutritious meals, And then I can spend the rest of my time playing with Eddie before he goes to sleep. My uncle visits us every weekend and I met his daughter too, who has recently come from Germany. She stayed a week with us and she is just as kind as her mom and dad. When she was about to go back to Germany, I asked her to be the godmother of my son. She hugged me and Eddie and cried her eyes out. My cousin, the one who gifted the house, is the godfather of Eddie. When I told him what all had taken place in the last 6 months, he was not surprised. He said that he always got immature vibes from Robert and had his doubts. He was just sorry that he couldn't be there for me during that time because he was out of the country himself, so I couldn't get in touch with him, and even if I had managed, that it wouldn't have been of any help. These few months has been the time of many of Eddie's first. He learned to roll over and try crawling. He also said his first word be. My mom tells me that it's just a random sound that he made, but hello. He really likes his Bumblebee soft toy. Robert keeps on sending new toys every month. He visited us last week and it was really awkward between us. It kind of hurt me too that the man I loved so much has become a stranger, but I guess that's life. Bad things happen, but one has to keep their head up. I left Robert alone to play with Eddie. It was a good idea because I could get a lot of work done as Robert looked after the baby. When I was done with all my work, Robert had already put baby Eddie to sleep. He was lying on Robert's chest and he looked absolutely tiny and fragile. Robert himself was half asleep and it filled my heart with such sadness of what it could have been. My therapist tells me that it's only human to feel this way and therefore to not feel guilty over being sad for Robert. So, I pulled myself together and clicked a picture of father and son. I got that picture framed and gifted it to Robert on his birthday. He looked at it for a long time and then thanked me. I think that there's a significant change that has taken over him now that he is a father. A change that was a long time coming.